Hello, hello, hello. Friends, I'm having internet troubles, so if I get kicked off, just rejoin. Hello. Hi, friends. I am super excited for this Woke Wednesday because a lot of breaking news has happened over the past 24 hours of when I decided what the topic for today was going to be. So folks, breaking news, guess who's dead? Donald Rumsfeld. So I don't really care. He is a warmonger and was a horrible person throughout our nation's history. I don't know how many wars that man started. Afghanistan, Iraq come to mind, places that we're still trying to pull out of now that he started based off of a lie. So Donald Rumsfeld, at the age of 88, has died. Other breaking news. Folks, tell me in an emoji how you are feeling this week thus far. Hi, Tanya. Tell me this week how you are feeling thus far. I'm pretty, for the first time in a long time, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little elated. I'm a little excited. I never say that because I'm usually in a state of rage if you listen to Woke AF Daily. But right now, I'm feeling a little something is coming, dear friends. So tell me how you are feeling with an emoji or write it out. Either way, I think is fantastic. And also, because I'm feeling so good, friends, I have traded in my coffee for rosé this afternoon. So happy Wednesday to us. Okay. Yeah, and also, it's hot as fuck in New York. Like, it is 97 degrees. It is really, really hot. It is completely hot all over the country right now, but particularly in the Pacific Northwest. Places, Oregon, Washington, are having temperatures in the triple-digit teens, so 115 degrees. But yeah, sure, climate change doesn't exist, and we shouldn't do anything about it, according to Republicans, which is why in the current infrastructure bill that we've supposedly come to a bipartisan deal on, that there is, very little conversation about what we're going to do with regard to climate change. But things that we should be paying attention to before I get into my really exciting news, things that we should be paying attention to are that roads are buckling right now, that the places that are experiencing this deep heat wave are not places that are used to it. So what does that mean? They don't have the infrastructure. They don't really have cooling centers. They don't have AC in their homes. They just have fans. And if you're talking about temperatures that are upwards of 110, 15 degrees, that is going to be very detrimental to the elderly and to the very young. So it's like pandemic, and then it's like heat wave. Now we're being told that we're headed into one of the most vicious fire seasons that we will have seen in California. So folks, today, the premise of today's show was going to be all about climate change. Hey, Andrew. But breaking news happened that I really, really want to get to because I'm super excited. Okay, so other bad news, breaking news, then we will go into the good news, breaking news. Bad news, breaking news. What the fuck was the Pennsylvania Supreme Court thinking? But they have now pretty much overturned their conviction of Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby had been accused of rape and assault, drugging of women over the course of decades. If you remember the New York Magazine's very prolific cover a couple of years ago when he actually was convicted were of 50 women sitting in black and white photos, sitting in chairs. And those are the women that had, over the course of Bill Cosby's illustrious career, accused him of rape and of assault. Well, today, 80-something-year-old Bill Cosby is now a free man. Does that mean that the accusations against him were not correct? Does that mean that he is exonerated as a sexual predator? No. But based on our flawed and fucked up criminal justice system, on a technicality, now a sexual predator is free. It just blows my mind, folks. Like, I can't imagine if you are have been a victim of sexual assault, which so many women have been, right? Like, we were having this conversation in the media many years ago where 1 in 5 women that were on college campuses would be sexually assaulted and or harassed at one time or another. That is an enormous number. So when you think about the amount of women that have this type of trauma in their life, to now hear the news just now, because he just entered his home, that Bill Cosby is now out and free, what signal does that send to other people that have been victims of sexual abuse and violence at the hands of very powerful men? What are we saying to them? Again, we are saying either stay silent, right? Because we're not going to believe you from jump, which is what happened it took 50 plus women for us to get Bill Cosby into court, right? Like, understand that. It didn't take 1, 2, or 10, or 20. It took 50 women to get that man into court. It took testimony to get him convicted. And now on a technicality, and just to get this right, folks, he can't be tried again. He cannot be tried again on the same offenses. So Bill Cosby is going to live out whatever time that he has left free. And for those that had been riding for him and applauding him this entire time, they're going to say he was exonerated. And it just makes me sick. It makes me sick for those victims. It makes me sick for other victims of trauma and abuse at the hands of powerful men. And I just want to say to folks out there that you are seen, that like you are brave, you are heard, you are courageous. Our system is broken. You are not broken. Our system is broken, right? And that there's nothing else that I can offer but to say that this is not, this overturning of this conviction by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court has nothing to do with the evidence that was brought against Bill Cosby. It has everything to do with the fact that we have a flawed system. And if you have enough money and powerful lawyers, pretty much you can walk free. We've seen this time and time again. And the fact, let me tell you what makes me so disgusted, is that I just heard right before I came on that his lawyers were saying that this was a great day for Black America. Bitch, keep that fucking shit to yourself, because Bill Cosby is embodying of nothing that is great for Black America right now. Him getting out on a technicality has nothing to do with Blackness or the Black community. He is a rich man, which is why he was never convicted in the first place, because people saw him much in the same way that they saw the Harvey Weinsteins and the Matt Lauers and the Kevin Spaceys. They saw you as an industry. Right? And so you got, behavior was excused and people looked the other way because you were making millions and millions, if not billions of dollars for the networks and outlets and studios that you were working for. Right? So, you know, to hear that this lawyer would say, this is a great day for Black America, I'm like, bitch, no, it was not. No, it is not. Okay? So leave that alone. You defended a criminal predator, a sexual predator, who the stories all match up all the same. It was disgusting. So Bill Cosby, sadly, will live out the rest of whatever days that he has left at his home in the suburbs of Pennsylvania. But I pray to God that we don't hear from him, we don't see him, that he stays off of Twitter. I want nothing to do with him at all. Okay, now folks, to the exciting news. Have you all been watching what is happening with the Trump Organization? What the header has been saying, dear friends? I have been waiting for months for this to happen. Actually, years. So, coming down tomorrow is believed to be the case that the Trump Organization, not just Donald Trump, not just Ivanka or Don Jr. or Eric, the Trump Organization is going to be indicted for criminal activity, including tax evasion, fraud, and anything else that they have been up to. Now, on tomorrow's Woke AF Daily, I will be sitting down with my usual friend, our Think Thursday guest, Glenn Kirshner, MSNBC legal analyst and host of Justice Matters. But let me tell you something. Let me give you a preview to what that conversation is going to be. Glenn and I have been talking about this for well over a year. Because why? Cy Vance teamed up with our girl, Letitia James, right? New York Attorney General and Manhattan District Attorney, in order to investigate Donald Trump. Now, if you all remember, a couple of months ago, it was this, because what is time? It could be a couple of months, it could be a couple of years at this point. I have no fucking idea. Nonetheless, the Supreme Court issued in one statement, gave Cy Vance access to 8 years of Donald Trump's tax returns. Very exciting, right? When that came down, we assumed because of Amy COVID Barrett, because of Brett Kavanaugh, because of Gorsuch, right? All of these Trump appointees, 3 of them, by the way, on the Supreme Court. Thanks, Mitch McConnell, you little mouth motherfucker. Anyway, that they were going to stonewall access to Trump's tax returns, which his attorneys have been doing for the past 5 years, right? Because we know that most presidents, ones that aren't criminals, always, in the era of transparency, offer up their tax returns. Why is that important? Because we want to know that the person that is the leader of the free world is not doing deals behind our backs with, let's say, oh, I don't know, let me pull something out of my head, Saudi Arabia and Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, you know, the murderer of Jamal Khashoggi, that you wouldn't be making arms deals because you're in $400 million worth of debt, which is what Donald Trump is in, which is what he did with the Saudis. So here's the thing. The Supreme Court issues a one-line statement but a few months ago to Cy Vance, giving him access to millions upon millions upon millions of papers leading to us to Donald Trump's taxes over the last 8 years. Now, what else is exciting about this breaking news around the Trump organization? Well, Alan Weisselberg, who had been acting as Trump's chief financial officer over the past decade plus, much in the same way that Michael Cohen, his personal attorney who just left prison because he was the one that issued the payoffs in the form of campaign money to Stormy Daniels, right? Well, Alan Weisselberger has been in cooperation with both the Manhattan District Attorney's Office as well as the AG's office. Well, what does Weisselberg know? Oh, I don't know everything about Donald Trump's finances and cooking the books that he's been doing for well over a decade. Interestingly enough, though, when Michael Cohen, Trump's former attorney, who in his famed hearing before Congress said that you need to believe everything that Donald Trump says because he means what he says and he does what he means, right? That he is a crook and that anyone who crosses him, he will throw under the bus. He will do anything to save his own neck. Look at me, right? So Michael Cohen was on MSNBC and he was talking to Ari Melber, and this is what he said. He said, Donald Trump, get this, so fucking sketchy. Donald Trump doesn't have an email address. He doesn't use email and he doesn't text, right? So the assumption here, much in the way that many crime bosses operate, and we know this because thank God for Hollywood and the movies, that crime bosses operate in this way. Don't write anything down. You can't have a paper trail that then leads back to me, and so I can have plausible deniability, right? Okay, well, except when Donald Trump became president, he decided that he wasn't going to put any of his businesses into a blind trust, right? Again, in order to make sure, at least have the presence that you weren't going to be influenced by outside folks and that, you know, running the country is a full-time job and, you know, you don't do like part-time work on your other organizations. Well, most people who run for office put their businesses in a blind trust. Donald Trump did not do that. So Donald Trump is the CEO of Trump Organization. So to say that he would have no understanding or no awareness whatsoever of any of the illegal ventures in which the Trump Organization has been embedded in, well, would just be a fucking lie, wouldn't it? And everyone knows, much in the same way that Michael Cohen testified before the Judiciary Committee, that when Donald Trump says something, he means what he says. And it is left for everyone else to follow his instructions. Whether or not they were written down does not fucking matter. So his cover, CYA, his cover my own ass, was the fact that I don't have an email address, I don't use text messages, my son is the COO, somebody else, Alan Weisselberg, is the CFO, and then he wants to both allow America to believe that he is this savvy strategic businessman, but then also a dummy that doesn't know that his accountant is cooking the books for him and involving him in legal activity? Well, here is the thing. Here is the thing. What Glenn Kirshner alerted us to on tomorrow's show that you will listen to if you sign up at patreon.com/wokeaf for $5 a month, he says this, that it is not often in business that an entire business and or company is indicted. That only happens for criminal operations and entities, right? Entire crime organizations are indicted, but not your run-of-the-mill business. The last time that we saw this happen, folks, was in the early aughts around Enron. And we remember how that all went down, right? Those motherfuckers went to jail after stealing money from all of their employees. Their pensions, their 401ks were all drained and put into the pockets of the CEOs and the shareholders. All of this illegal misgiving, right? So Enron, as well as the accounting firm that was associated with Enron, all ended up crumbling under these investigations and ceased to operate. So here is the good news. Because for once, I am sharing good fucking news. When the indictment comes down for the Trump organization, which is happening this week, a couple of things can happen afterwards, which is Trump's businesses dry up, right? Because who's going to want to be associated with an organization that is now being criminally indicted? The banks that have been loaning him money against his $400 million debt are going to come collecting. And guess who doesn't have the $400 million to pay them out? Donald Trump. So that's number two. Number three is that everyone that is associated with the Trump organization, which is him and all of his spawn, are now going to be under criminal investigation. Folks, what else is exciting about this? No one wants to be first out of the gate in this situation. No one wants to be the first person to do something that is out of the norm, which is do what? Indict a former president of the United States. Now remember, when the Mueller report came out, what was the reason that Mueller and his team gave that they could not go after Donald Trump? Well, based on the rules, not the law, but the rules and guidelines within the Department of Justice, that they could not indict a sitting president of the United States. So, what makes this really exciting is that, one, Donald Trump is under investigation, not just in New York, but if you remember, folks, also in Georgia. Why is he under investigation in Georgia? For that little phone call that he made to Raffensperger asking him to find him 11,780 something votes, right? Which is election tampering and illegal. Now remember that the Republican-run government down in Georgia was trying to make sure that the district attorney in Fulton County was not going to be able to bring indictment charges against Donald Trump, but she's just biding her time and waiting. So friends, good friends, this may finally be coming to a head where we start with New York, we go to Georgia, and then every other state that decides that they are prosecuting Donald Trump, or in fact, the Department of Justice. Because again, remember in the Mueller report, they laid out the 10 ways in which Donald Trump and the Trump administration obstructed justice. And that was with the Ukrainian call. That is before the Georgia call that happened in 2020. Folks, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but like I say to you, I never come here with good news. I come here with rants and anger and rage. But today we can potentially begin to raise our first glass at a sense of accountability and responsibility for the actions that Donald Trump has been taking for decades. This man, if you lived in New York during the time of Trump, Trump was like a D-list celebrity that was trying to just be in the scene and be seen. He was nouveau rich, right? Or nouveau riche, depending on who you talk to and who you ask. So the idea here that we have finally moved to a place where Donald Trump is going to be exposed, right? In a very real way, that this could end up with Okay, now I am going to get ahead of myself. Prison. It could possibly end up with prison. Donald Trump in an orange jumpsuit makes me so fucking happy. Yes, Fander, I will believe it when I see it too. But let us have this moment. Let us hang on to this moment that the name Trump and organization is going to be synonymous with an indictment, right? This isn't like now relying on Republicans in the Senate during impeachment to do the right thing, right? Or to be remembered falsely by history. No, this is in the court of law. And what makes this even better is that Monday was the deadline for Trump's lawyers to be able to present to prosecutors why prosecutors didn't have enough information in order to move ahead with this indictment, move ahead with these grand juries. Well, they came up with what? Bupkis, nothing. They could offer nothing, which means that there is enough evidence that is apparent. And here's the thing that we know to be true. Cy Vance and Letitia James, they would not be swinging right now if they didn't think that they could hit this target. That is the thing that we also need to rest assured, that this is a big ticket giant right now. This is a career motherfucking maker. And no one is going after a former president of the United States, let alone Donald Trump, right? And gonna miss. So, friends, this is exciting fucking news, right? We know that this man, I mean, the way in which they have been using, right, the hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue, that is basically a slush fund operation. If you remember back during the Trump administration, Bill Barr spent $40,000 at that hotel because he moved his annual Christmas party to the Trump location. If you remember, Mike Pence, when he was visiting the UK and in Scotland, had the federal government, you know, our tax dollars, which pays the Secret Service and pays his salary, stay in a Trump property that was across the country from where their meeting was actually supposed to be. They have been using everything. The American Treasury, our Treasury Department, as their own fucking piggy bank. So, dear friends, this is just the beginning, but this is such an important fucking step. Because here's the thing. This week, Donald Trump was hosting rallies. Today, he is at the U.S.-Mexican border. Once again, on his grift shit, telling people that he's going to run in 2024. But guess where you can't, guess how you can't run? If you're in prison. If you've been indicted, you can't run for president of the United States. So Donald Trump's days, I don't even have wood around me. Somebody knock on wood for me. I'm knocking on marble. Somebody knock on wood. Donald Trump's days are numbered. And I think that the whole fucking family, over the course of the next several months, the next few years, are going to be exposed for the criminal, grifting crime family that they are and have been. And we already know what Republicans will say. We already know exactly that they will come out of the gate and they will say that this is a partisan attack, that Cy Vance and Letitia James are Democrats, as if that means anything. They'll try and pull up Letitia James's tweets from 2018 where she said she was going to take down Donald Trump. And my response would be, pull up all of those motherfuckers' tweets. Pull up Donald Trump's tweets of when he was threatening witnesses as they were testifying, right? Throw up every single thing. Right? If we're supposed to dismiss the words that came out of the mouth of the president of the United States, then I can totally dismiss the statements and the tweets that were made by an attorney general that had yet to be appointed. I don't really care. Right? So what's good for Donald Trump should be good for everybody else. But dear friends, oh, happy day. I will tell you, this is what I will offer. We don't get big moments, right? Because there's a lot going on in America. Our entire systems are buckling. Literally, our roads and bridges are melting. We have buildings that are collapsing. Like, infrastructure is a huge problem. Climate change is a huge problem. Our broken immigration system, our broken criminal justice system. I say all that to say, when small things happen, when good things happen, celebrate them. Take a moment, take this in, and be like, you know what? Yeah, I hope, you know what I'd like to see? Live picture of Donald Trump right now inside of Mar-a-Lago, running around at the pancake station, just screaming, crying, you know, cursing out whomever he wants to, firing whoever he wants to fire, and saying they don't know who I am. Like, I want to see live shots of his motherfucking meltdown, because you know he's most certainly is having one. And if I was that other fucking nasty former First Lady of the United States, I would be checking out my, you know, prenup and seeing what happens if he's arrested or goes to jail, and I would start my packing right now if I were her and try and go on to her next victim, I mean husband. Anyway, folks, I think that today is a happy day. I say cheers to Cy Vance and to Tish James and the work that they've been doing over the past couple of years to finally get this done. Donald Trump is a criming ass motherfucker. He's a racist, and we know, right? Because when did I come on here the other day to talk about Merrick Garland's decision to defend Donald Trump in court against E. Jean Carroll's case of defamation of character? Because remember, she can't sue him for rape and assault and sexual assault because his statute of limitations is over. So she's suing him for defamation of character. Come to find out, she has evidence still on her dress from back then. And what she's asking for is, you know, a little bit of Donald Trump's DNA. Because if I'm lying, she says, then you should have no problem taking a simple test to see if what semen remains on my dress belongs to you. Because if you're saying that I'm a liar and it doesn't, then you should have no problem. So this is why I'm pissed off at the Merrick Garland Department of Justice, because they're deciding that they must defend him as they defend the institution of the executive office, even though he is a piece of shit. Like, to me, at some point in time, you just have to let people go and be where the hell they are, right? Like, he didn't have to take up this case against E. Jean Carroll. Because again, what are you saying to victims of sexual assault and violence, right? That if it happens and it is a powerful man, then you should keep your mouth shut. But yeah, when I learned, guys, about the sperm on the dress that E. Jean Carroll had, I had no idea. I learned that on air when I was interviewing my friend and law professor, Jennifer Taub. And she was like, how did you not know that? I said, how would I know? But yes, dresses, y'all. Women, keep them, preserve them, because men are fucking disgraceful. That is all I will say. But yeah, folks. Donald Trump, the Trump Organization, you stay tuned, because tomorrow or Friday, whenever that news comes down, I'm going to be full-fledged in the tweets, and I may do a spontaneous Instagram live because I won't be able to contain my joy. So you may see me again. So you keep watching the news, because as soon as it says breaking, the Trump Organization has been indicted, I'm hitting live, and I don't give a fuck where I am, because we're going to have to celebrate that together. So get your champagne chilling, your rosé in the fridge and in the freezer, your popcorn popped, because this is going to be a party, a party. There's nothing I want to celebrate more than Donald Trump's downfall. Trust and believe. There's nothing that I want to see more than that man's downfall. It will be so fucking deserving, and I am so ready for it. All right, folks, that is it for me today on this Woke Wednesday, on a happy Woke Wednesday. So happy hump day to all of you. I wish you the rest of the week stay cool, stay hydrated, stay safe. It is still a pandemic. The Delta variant is not a joke. So stay masked, keep washing hands, keep yourself safe, but more importantly, stay embedded in joy and celebrate these small moments, because they are few and far in between, and it's what keeps us charged to keep going on. Folks, if you want more of me, head over to patreon.com/wokeaf and sign up for $5 a month. You get 5 one-hour shows every single day, 5 days a week. I take off on the weekends because even Jesus took a day off. All right, folks, power to the people, and to all the people power. Get woke and stay woke as fuck. Until next Woke Wednesday, or whenever Donald Trump's indictment comes down. I can't wait. I can't wait. Bye.